Welcome back again, this is Jayant, and in this video, let's find out what camera format is and how it matters. As we saw in an earlier video, a DSLR uses a digital sensor to capture images. The sensor is rectangular in shape and is of a certain size. Camera format is simply a reference to this size. There are two types of DSLR formats in existence. The full frame format, such as the Nikon D750, and the APS-C format, such as the Canon 7D Mark II, for instance. Full frame cameras use a sensor the same size of a 35mm film, and the APS-C cameras use sensors that are around 50% smaller. Since APS-C sensors are physically smaller than full-frame cameras and therefore show less of a scene, leaving out the parts shown by a full-frame sensor, they are known as cropped sensor cameras. So it's not like they crop your images after they've been taken, but to repeat, they're called cropped sensor cameras because they capture a smaller part of a scene compared to a full-frame camera, so the picture appears cropped. Nikon's terminology for cropped sensor cameras and lenses is DX, and they call their full-frame cameras FX. Canon calls its cropped sensor format EFS mount and its full-frame format the EF mount. In both Nikon and Canon cameras, the full-frame lenses are compatible with the cropped sensor bodies, but not the other way around. That is, cropped sensor lenses are not compatible with full-frame bodies because cropped sensor lenses are not large enough to cover the entire area of full-frame sensors. However, Nikon full-frame cameras have a crop shooting mode where you can mount a cropped sensor lens and the camera automatically crops and saves only the middle of the frame that the lens is able to cover. Although these are the two of the most popular camera formats, they are not the only ones. There are smaller formats such as the Micro Four Thirds format, in this case like the Panasonic GH5, which is only half the size of the full frame camera, and the mobile camera format, which is even smaller with many more formats in between. There are also formats larger than full frame such as the medium format, where the sensor can be anything larger than the full frame up to 4 by 3 inches. There's also the large format, which still uses only film of up to 8 by 10 inches. So how does the camera format matter? The most important effect of camera format is angle of view. That is, how much of a scene you're able to view and capture when you point your camera in any direction. All else being the same, the larger the format, the wider you can see. More about this in the focal length video. The second way in which it matters is resolution and print size. The larger the format is, the more pixels you can pack in it without compromising quality. And as we saw in the resolution video, the more the pixels in your image, the larger you can print. That's why while cropped sensor cameras offer only between 18 and 24 megapixel images, there are full frame cameras like the Canon 5DS and the Nikon D850 which can do up to 50. Medium format cameras can touch 100, and large format cameras which aren't digital yet have equivalent of 200 megapixels in film resolution. The third way in which it matters is image quality. Generally, the larger the format, the better the image quality, particularly in terms of low light performance. But in good light, it may be very hard to tell the difference. The fourth way in which it matters is depth of field. Please skip to the video and aperture to understand what depth of field is if you wish, and come back to this video. But in sum, all else being the same, the larger the format, the lesser the depth of field. Let's summarize. Camera format is a reference to the size of the sensor of the camera. Popular SLR formats are 35mm format and the APS-C. 35mm digital cameras are called full frame, while APS-C cameras are called cropped sensor cameras. There are smaller and larger formats than full frame and the APS-C. The larger formats are called medium and large formats. The larger the image format, the wider the view, the better the image quality and higher the resolution possible and the lesser the depth of field. Well, that's it for now. In the next video, let's learn about focal length of lenses.